Let's get this show on the road. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Torn Tuesday. I'm
Mhm.
Crooked, and that's Clifford.
You're crooked? Is that because your camera? Where's your level? Don't you have a level on your camera?
I'm
Oh
leveling.
my gosh,
I,
that's so
I got
funny.
no levels.
You're so
Um,
funny. Hi, everybody. This is Torn Tuesday, and it is, as always, your weekly one-stop shop for all things J.R.R. Tolkien. I also have some kind of mess going on in the background. You know what this is? This, you see, I've got this stuff in the back. This is my wedding ceremony book. And this is the one with all my wedding ceremonies in it. And when you look at the spine, oh, look, that's the ring verse. Why is the one ring verse in Elvish on the side of this book? Well, that's because when you look inside, dun dun dun, map of Middle Earth, it is a Middle Earth notebook. Haha. And so every time I'm doing a wedding for one of my beautiful couples, as an officiant, as you know, I am an ordained minister. Right here inside these blank pages, I put in all the amazing words to make magic happen and set them on their new adventure together as newlyweds. So, hello, my name is Clifford Broadway. It is wonderful to be hosting with you. This is Justin, our producer and co host. And, he's what I would like to call a bon vivant, man about town. He's one of those good eggs. And here we are, bringing live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, streaming on every
and the
platform.
most important question to
Welcome to our
open the show,
show.
Clifford, is that your red book of wed merch?
Yes, it is the Red Book of Wed March. I should have thought of that. That's very funny. Very good, Katie. You win the internet today. Katie wins the internet. It is so, excuse me. Oh, what was that? It is so beautiful to see you all here today on Torn Tuesday, brought to you by the longest standing, all volunteer web community, theonering.net. Welcome to our live show. It's a publication day for Simon Tolkien. We have big news about Sean Astin. We've got there's publishing news, there's pop culture news. We have probably some Rings of Power casting news, which I believe is, on our docket of news items. And there might even be some other surprises in store. And we'll eventually gossip when we sit down in the Green Dragon Inn and have a pint together, and we will gossip about things. Welcome to the show, everybody. Look, all these lovely people, beautiful people right here in the chat with us. Hi, everybody. How you doing there?
Yeah,
Justin, how you doing there?
man, Cliff, it's been a great week. We have to talk about Emmys, but first, the
Oh, yeah, the
big
Emmys.
news, the
The Emmys.
biggest entertainment news of the week, bar
Oh
none,
my.
Cliff.
Oh my
Cliff.
goodness.
But like,
Oh
let's
my
let's be
goodness.
real. This blew up the internet. It was the number one trending article all day. It was the number one, number two, and number three top three posts on the front page of Reddit on the
Yes.
day the news came out. This is how
Yes.
big the news was. When was the last time you saw anything dominate the headlines as empirically as this? Cliff,
Show me.
Lord of the Rings star Sean Astin
Oh yes.
elected
Oh,
SAG-AFTRA president. Congratulations, Sean Astin. We
congratulations,
love
Sean.
you.
This is huge.
This is huge. We know that you had it in your heart for so
Mm,
many years. We
he's
knew that
brilliant.
it
He's
runs in
brilliant.
your family. Your mother was president of SAG. Um,
Oh, yes, Patty Duke was
Everything.
at one time. Yes, that's right.
So,
You know what's interesting? Look at that headline. Let's talk about that headline. It doesn't say Goonies star, Sean Astin. It doesn't even say Stranger Things star, Sean Astin. You know what it says? Look at that. That has something to say about the impact, the long lasting impact of how powerful the Lord of the Rings film trilogy was and still is in the world of show business and popular culture. Just huge, huge.
but by the way, your eyes do not deceive you. We got 96,000 likes on this post. We got nearly 100,000 people
Yes,
clicked
yes,
like on
yes.
this post. It's probably one of our biggest posts of the year. If and but it wasn't just us. It dominated the headlines. Like I said, I wish I had screenshotted it. It was the number one, number two, and number three most popular post on Reddit on 3 different subreddits. It Sean Astin dominating the headlines. And Cliff, I think one of the reasons it captures the imagination of all entertainment junkies is it's a step in the right direction. It's positivity in a headline. There's nothing controversial. There's nothing, nobody has anything bad to say about this man. This is a good man, a
Yes,
positive man here to lead
indeed.
a very strong American Union through a turbulent time again that might
Yes.
prove difficult for unions. Just say
Unions,
it.
well, the actors and the performers here that are covered under SAG-AFTRA, that includes stage performers and film performers and television performers. Now,
And
that's
voice
because
actors
hello,
and video
and
game
voice actors,
voices and
voice actors like
motion
Jordan
capture
Rennell's.
actors and
Yes,
and listen,
exactly.
Here's the thing. Here's what I mean about difficult times ahead. We've already seen a ton of consolidation in the movie biz. Disney bought Fox, Skydance bought Paramount, and now Skydance wants to buy Warner Brothers and merge with Paramount and Warner Brothers.
Oh my gosh, the strange timeline we're living in.
Amazon
So
bought
strange.
MGM.
Yes, that's right.
There's
Yeah.
there's only 3 or 4 major media companies, and we are the history of business will tell you that when big companies merge, they try to fight the unions for a fair contract.
Yes,
And
they do.
so there's a lot of consolidation at the top. I believe we have a political administration that is more friendly to the corporate owners than they are to union rank and file. So your man Sam, Sean Astin, is here to lead SAG-AFTRA during a what might be a very active time.
Indeed. Well, now, when it's time for actors to negotiate that they get compensated properly for their likeness, because their likeness is being used by companies for promotion, for a film or television promotion, when their likeness is being used on other products, like fast food chain or a
AI
tie-in.
revolution. How about
even that? Well, I was going to build up to that,
We
but yes.
keep talking about
Yes.
Christopher Lee, and
Yeah.
what about deceased actors?
You know what? You're going to need someone like Sean Astin up there at the helm of this union to help represent and do these negotiations to help these actors get proper benefits, health benefits, safety checks, and to make sure that they get compensated for the use of their voice and their likeness in all manner, in all perpetuity throughout the universe. Right now, like with any media heretofore existing or to be devised in the future. They use language like that in their contracts. It's really bonkers. Tell me about it. As a voiceover actor who's done the voice of Samwise for the Lord of the Rings video game for Universal Studios Black Label Games, and I've also done voiceover work for Walt Disney Studios for the Japanese anime version of Stitch, which is a different series based on Lilo and Stitch. It's very important to have someone negotiate for you so you don't get railroaded by these entertainment companies that don't want to pay you. So thank you to the universe for having Sean Astin get this position as president of the union.
And Cliff,
yes. Thank you.
Look at what I found, Cliff.
Good stuff. What did you find, good sir? Tell me.
Look at what I found. Let's bring this up full screen.
No, what is this? Did you find some mischief?
You know, a couple questions came up. Everyone knows.
There's you at Sean's house.
Going for the role, making a video going up in the Santa Monica Mountains, and how did you get Was it your typical Asian called up?
Yes.
Well, I had a. You remember? You know the
Well,
story?
well, I don't. I was going to say yes to the question. Thank you for bringing it up. The person you hear behind the scenes, guys, is our technical producer, Justin. That's the disembodied voice you hear.
Good-looking guy.
And
I'm not gonna lie, good-looking guy.
Made me blush.
but the
Thank you, Sean. You've got my
Oh my
vote.
God.
You've got my vote,
Oh my
Sean.
gosh. That was too much. That's too much. Yes, that was
Cliff, there you are in Sean's living room. So let me ask you this: as someone on the
that's so
inside
funny.
with the
So funny.
president, with the new president of SAG, does he have the temperament? Does he have the knowledge? And does he have
Yes.
the wherewithal? And is he familiar with all of the tools of the filmmaking trade, including AI, that you think he's the perfect leader for this moment in
Yeah.
time?
He sure is. He is the perfect leader for this moment
Why
in
do you
time.
say that? You've been to his house to talk to me.
All right. The reason why is because of the breadth of his experience. I mean, there's not a narrow window of experience in this family that he grew up in, the experiences that he has had as a child actor in really famous large-scale properties, and all through his adult years. It represents a wide horizon of experience, and I mean practical, lived, real world experience. And it informs his judgment in all of these matters. He knows how unions work. He's a great voice for democracy. And in that sense, he's ideal to be president, to represent all these wonderful performers and actors. Now, before I excuse myself for a second because of a little clear my throat for I must say, oh, sorry, I pushed the wrong button. That's funny. I turned off my camera and not my microphone, so you guys had to hear that cough. I'm so sorry about that. But the best thing about Sean Astin being put into this position is that he can bring all of his lived experience with his dad and his mom and his own professional career. Imagine he's experienced not one, but three different professional acting careers, and he's experienced it from the outside and from the inside in every possible combination. That means that he knows what people are talking about when they're saying there's safety issues here on the set, on this location. There are safety issues on the top of the mountainside as they take us up to this remote location to film. He's been there. He's done that. He can talk to television actors and understand the incredible pressure of their day-to-day work schedules, the things that happen in their lives that make them work extra hours beyond the pale. He knows exactly what it's like on film sets, and he is very well versed in, as a director himself, he's directed short films. He knows what it's like to be behind the camera as in front of the camera. He knows what people are dealing with. It's going to be a huge benefit for actors and actresses and performers and voiceover actors.
Well,
everywhere will benefit from his, what you'd call acumen, like a lifetime, and I mean shared lifetimes, including his mom and his dad.
How do you square everything
lot
you
of
just
business
said
acumen.
with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit being non-union productions?
Well, that's what happens when things are made independently. You make an independent film, and sometimes it's made under the auspices of the union, and sometimes not. I made an indie film once. Yeah, I made an indie film, and you know, there's sometimes when you actually have to, you know, pay your actors, and if you're doing it under the auspices of the union, you have to have contracts. They might be temporary contracts, and if you don't, then
But here's
you're
the thing: Lord of the Rings is one of the biggest franchises of all time, and here's where I'm excited about Sean is that Lord of the Rings was not a union production, and you can watch the appendices and see those actors working with cast boots on their broken ankles.
Yes.
Sean included.
He cut his foot badly wandering into that lake,
And he
trying to
kept
go after
working.
Frodo.
If that
And he
was a
kept working.
union production, they would have required him to go to rehab and not film, right? So the
Well,
thing I like
maybe.
about Sean is that he is an everyman. That it is union. He heads a union, and he's also played in independent film. He's also worked on giant $100 million indie films that were non-union. He understands the entire field of production and filmmaking. And I think there was this idea that, everybody's got to be union. Every production's got to be union. Cliff, if you made Ringers today, there would be a lot of stress from your own friends of like, you have to be union. You have to pay union wages for your voiceover. And the reality is, as a producer of independent film, sometimes you just can't. And like, you can't. And Sean understands that. He understands the needs of the creative class that just need to pay the bills and need to practice their craft.
Agreed.
So I
Agreed.
think because he's worked on Lord of the Rings, which is a huge production like that in New Zealand, I think he's very well situated. Does this mean,
indeed.
Cliff, does this mean that he is off the table for any Lord of the Rings spin-off movies? Are we done with Samwise Gamgee on screen for the foreseeable future?
Oh, I wonder. That's a good question. I don't see any particular straight line through for Sean Astin's character, Samwise, to be in The Hunt for Gollum. I don't see a through line there. So, but who knows what's next in the future?
The movie's supposed to start to Bilbo's birthday. Samwise is there, Cliff.
He is there. Who knows? Really, who knows? What about other voiceover work? If they do like Samwise and it's just his voiceover, like the way that Miranda Otto came into the recording studio to be the narrator for the anime The War of the Rohirrim. There could be future for Sean to do things like that. You never know.
Does the new Lord of the Rings movies demand their union productions now?
Yeah, I think that yes now.
Ooh, we're getting delicate right now.
I don't know. I mean, look, there was a whole falderall between the New Zealand government and the labor unions around The Hobbit, and they changed the labor laws to accommodate Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy. And
to be clear, New Zealand is non-union.
I am sketchy on the details. I'm not good on those details on that story. That means still, is that what you're saying, Justin? Still to this day, as of now, today, September 16th, 2025?
That's what I don't know. As SAG president, would Sean Astin decline to be in Lord of the Rings if it continues to be non-union?
Good question. Very good question. I wonder. I do not know the answer, but I wonder.
If that's the case, Cliff, does Samwise get recast, or do we just keep Samwise off screen for the foreseeable future? What do you want?
Bite your tongue. Don't, dude. You can't recast Sean Astin. You can't recast Ian McKellen. You can't.
You can't?
Mean, come on.
You cannot recast Samwise?
No, you can't recast Samwise. Y'all, come on. Come on now. Think about what you're saying here. That is not what I'd call sound reasoning.
Well, I guess the next question is, do they have to rewrite the Hunt for Gollum scripts now that Sean is off the table?
What was he ever in the script to begin with? This is the wildest arena of speculation.
Right. That's what we do here on Tuesday.
Yeah, but look at, you're going to end up landing somewhere on the side of being grievously wrong about it. If you're just going to speculate this broadly without warning the audience, this is complete fabricated imagination, what we're talking about. right here. And yes, you're right. Otaku Senpai says that if there is a role for Samwise in the hunt for Gollum, it really needs to be a small one anyway. And I agree. But what does he have to do in that story? What does Frodo have to do in that story? And this is worth debate. We can debate amongst ourselves, as we always do, because we're that kind of fandom. We'll debate and talk about the pros and cons of this. But you'll get some people just saying that's a distraction, that's fan service to the level of distraction. And Samwise had nothing to do with the hunt for Gollum when the main players in that story were Smeagol, Aragorn, Gandalf, and Sauron and Thranduil. Like, that's your top list of characters that have really important things to do in this story. Probably in that
All
order.
right, all right.
Smeagol, Gandalf, Aragorn, Sauron himself, and the Elven King, Thranduil. Well, I would like some input. Let's put this question to the chat. Let's talk to our wonderful people right here in the chat. Name, other than the 5 that I just mentioned, name other characters that you folks believe are real necessities in the story, The Hunt for Gollum. I might argue a 6th character. His name is Saruman, because he's making his own evil rings. He's looking around, trying to find the ring before Sauron and his servants can find it. Yeah, that's my 6th character. But I really do wonder if Frodo, Samwise, Elrond, Arwen, what part do they have to play? I mean, how important is it? So, yeah. Okay, Susan is on point. Legolas. Thank you. Legolas would be probably a big player. He might actually have quite a few scenes. Maybe Legolas, yes. Yep, okay, yeah, Susan, Monica, you're right. Name the 5 again? Okay. That would be in order: Smeagol, Gandalf, Aragorn, Sauron, and my 5th one was Thranduil. But we'll add to that a 6th person, Legolas. Okay, yes, Shelob. Yeah, Shelob. Okay, good. Character number 7. We have to have Shelob, yes, because it would be perfect to see Gollum have the beginning of a relationship with this horrid spider creature. That could be very interesting.
Cliff,
Yeah, okay. I like that idea.
Question though. The Hunt for Gollum is directed by Andy Serkis and starring
Yes.
Andy Serkis as Gollum, correct? And
yes, and starring Andy
we've been
Serkis. Yes.
we've been reporting that according to our sources that they're planning on filming starting in March or April of next year and going through the rest of the year, right?
Boy, that's a big project. That's a lot.
So
Yes.
the question I have for you, Cliff, is according to news this week, the Batman Part 2 is supposed to be filming in April as well. Andy Serkis is Alfred Pennyworth in the Batman.
A very small role. He might have
Alfred is small role? No.
a week of filming. A week of filming.
You don't
on a
think
few
that
sets.
you don't think there's going to be any issues with Andy stepping away for a week or 2? You think that's all they need him for?
They'll do second unit on that week. If he's gone for 10 days and is filming at another location for Matt Reeves, then let second unit do the things they need to shoot, including outdoor scenes, some battles, stuff like that. And then he can come back to New Zealand after
Okay, so
7
you
or
don't
10
see
days.
any scheduling complications with Hunt for
I do not.
Gollum and the Batman. All right, I'm looking forward to both of them.
That is
There's
that is
other
making a big
news.
assumption. That's making a big assumption that the role of Alfred has not been greatly increased in the new movie. Well, we don't know.
Right.
That yet.
We don't know. So Cliff, the big news, well, first off, the red headline right there, Robert Redford, we'd be remiss to not
Great
mention
Robert
the
Redford.
titan of industry. I mean, founding the Sundance Institute. The Sundance Film Festival is probably the most important film festival of the last 40 years. The Sundance Sundance made your movie because Slam Dance happens around Sundance in Park City.
That is correct. And that is where I sold my film to Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. I was there at Slamdance. I was there in Park City in the middle of all the hubbub and the parties and the screenings and the multiple events all around Sundance. What a time that was. Wow.
So Robert Redford, as good looking as he is and as an accomplished actor as he was as important to the industry, probably more important to the industry as a whole, more important than Martin Scorsese or anybody else. I believe Robert Redford helped more careers than anyone else ever in Hollywood.
I agree. Completely agree with that.
And it's not under the radar because the Sundance Institute, Sundance Film Festival, all of the activism he participated in. Again, Cliff, you are an award-winning filmmaker that sold your movie in Park City as part of Robert Redford's film festivals.
Part of his legacy. Yes.
So
my success as an independent filmmaker is directly tied to Redford's legacy. Directly. Absolutely.
So
absolutely. You're right. And I'll never forget this man. I will never forget this man, Robert Redford. The way that my mom swooned over Robert Redford. I grew up wondering, what is my mom talking about? And she's just like, oh, Robert Redford. Oh my gosh. So we would go see his movies, you know, Billy and the Sundance Kid. And, you know, when I was older and I became something of a cinephile myself, I started to appreciate his roles in his later years. Brilliant actor. And well, let's not forget that Robert Redford is the king of one of the most famous internet memes of all time. The one where he's got the shaggy hair and the big beard, and he slowly turns and smiles softly and nods. Remember that?
That's from Jeremiah Johnson.
That's from Jeremiah Johnson. That is Robert Redford in one of the most famous internet memes ever. Ever.
Yeah. And I recommend that movie. If we search for Jeremiah Johnson right here, you'll recognize it.
Yes. Yep.
You know, that GIF.
Yes, that is the ultimate GIF. That's the ultimate GIF. It really is.
And the GIF doesn't even do it justice because the whole shot is like 4 times longer. Like it's a wide shot that goes into like a 100-yard zoom. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So 2 movies I want you guys to watch to celebrate Robert Redford. Captain America Civil War. No, I'm just kidding. Jeremiah Johnson.
Funny.
Jeremiah Johnson, that this GIF is from. Great movie. And
Yes.
my second favorite film of his of all time. I can watch this movie any day of the week. I'll watch it twice on Sundays. It's that good to me. Sneakers.
Oh, that's a brilliant movie. Sneakers is a brilliant movie.
Sneakers. 1992. Sneakers, starring Robert Redford, and
I'm
all-star
actually
cast. Imagine if Ocean's 11 had bigger stars than Ocean's 11. That's Sneakers, and that's the movie that I'm going to be watching more than once this week.
Do not sleep on All the President's Men from 1976.
What
the year before
relevance does that have to anything, Cliff? That happened in the 70s.
It's one of, hey, so did Star Wars: A New Hope. So can it with that. But I'm just saying that if you're going to look at the catalog of Robert Redford, look at All the President's Men. It's a brilliant, brilliant movie. Absolutely brilliant.
Real quick,
Don't sleep on
Cliff, there was a question in the chat that I want you to answer.
Yeah.
We mentioned this Paramount might be trying to buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
If that deal goes through, should Warner Brothers sell off Lord of the Rings as
No,
part of the deal?
absolutely not. No, no.
Why?
No, no.
Why?
I also want to say, before there was Leonardo DiCaprio, there was Robert Redford playing.
We've
the
moved
great-
on, Cliff.
You're not going
Come
to let
on.
me finish my sentence.
I'm not.
Come on.
We've already
Thank you.
moved on.
The Great Gatsby. You might love Leo DiCaprio in The Great Gatsby, but check out the one that Redford did. It was phenomenal. Now, the reason why there should not be the sale of that property is because the Warner Brothers New Line people have what you'd call a curated history. They have an interwoven history with handling the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings films and associated merchandising, and it has been carefully and carefully handled by them for all this time, for 25 years. And I think that if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or as Cogsworth would say in Beauty and the Beast, if it's not baroque, if it's not baroque, don't fix it. Really, all jokes aside, they know what they're doing and they've handled it properly. So why would you mess that up? How weird would it get if Warner Brothers is like, "Oh, sugar, we're going to sell off the rights to this." And then the next people who handle theatrical re-release or home video re-release or even streaming re-release, what if they botch it and botch it up badly because they don't have any of the original team members there who were part of the New Line
And let's
cabal?
remind people the worst parts of the Hobbit movies were studio notes.
Hmm. Well, the real problem with studio notes happened in the Hobbit production, not so much in the
That's what I'm saying.
LOTR.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The biggest problems with the Hobbit were studio notes, and we don't want those type of studio people giving those type of studio notes.
Yeah, it looks like Tauriel needs a love triangle. We better stick a love triangle in there for Tauriel, the elf, because we have a female elf that needs to have, and that's a studio note mentality where I can't make sense out of it. It makes no sense. They just do
Cliff,
stupid things sometimes.
Man, you just ruined my Green Dragon gossip.
Did I?
The Green Dragon gossip, the latest we're hearing of the latest script, the latest version of the script for Hunt for Gollum, Cliff.
Because they're doing rewrites on it right now, yes.
Includes they're bringing back Tauriel in a major role.
Okay.
So
Could be interesting.
what are your thoughts on that?
Could be interesting, but whatever.
Would you rather have Tauriel than and Legolas team up, or would you rather just have Tauriel skip Legolas? Or Orlando says he does not want anyone else to play that role?
Wow. Do you know what? It's really not at all necessary to have Tauriel. Why? Look, one of the problems.
Here's why I like it. Here's why I like it, Cliff.
Oh, well, I'll tell you why I don't.
While you got your thoughts. I like the idea of giving Evangeline Lilly the final word on that character, because we know personally how she feels about the studio notes that changed some aspects of her character that she did not sign up for. She's disappointed with the final edit of the Hobbit movies, right? And the love triangle. I love the idea of allowing that actress to retake and be the final word on her character. That's why I'm on board with this, and I would prefer Tauriel being a lead elf in the Hunt for Gollum than having Legolas anywhere near it. Your thoughts?
I completely counterpoint you and contradict you with what I'm about to say. I couldn't feel further from that sentiment. I feel so far from that sentiment. You ended up clouding the waters of the narrative of the Hobbit film by sticking in these extra characters. It ended up being what generally people would say the detriment to the Hobbit was that instead of sticking with Bilbo's story, they were adding in tertiary characters and things that were never in the book and all kinds of extra gobbledygook. And that was always and continues to be one of the main criticisms against the Hobbit films. Why would you run that risk again and do that to your brand new Hunt for Gollum film? And people are going to say, oh, lordy, they're just sticking in these tertiary characters for no damn reason.
She's
Yeah.
not tertiary. I would appreciate if Tauriel took the place of Legolas in whatever headcanon you think the story is.
Well, I mean,
Tauriel and Aragorn team up.
It's actually supposed to be the way that Thranduil leaves the dialogue with his son Legolas at the very end of the Battle of the Five Armies. He's like, "You're going to need to go out and meet this ranger. You need to go out and make friends with him and discover what his real name is." Don't you think they left that hanging there? And they're gonna
Princess Toy
follow up with
Nerd is
that?
with me. Let Tauriel be in the movie, not Legolas.
I'm not for that. I think it's got to be about Legolas building the relationship with Aragorn. That way, when we watch The Fellowship of the Ring, we understand their friendship because it's just the way they pat each other on the shoulder. They don't have any dialogue. I mean, there's no dialogue between Aragorn and Legolas ever about their past adventures. There's no discussion about the hunt for Gollum.
No,
There's
in
no
fact,
discussion about anything.
the first time they ever
But-
talked is at the Council of Elrond when Legolas stands up and says, "You guys owe him respect," and Aragorn softly says,
And
"Legolas, sit down."
And what happens here is you now have a big, wonderful opening in a genuine J.R.R. Tolkien narrative, a genuine narrative that is really based on the real books with the real story, not some made-up gobbledygook, where you have the background of why they look at each other as friends. Why would Legolas pat Aragorn on the shoulder and, without speaking a word, they speak volumes to each other without saying a word? And for us to understand those behaviors in Fellowship and Two Towers, we need to see this in The Hunt for Gollum. It shouldn't be about Aragorn teaming up with Tauriel. It should be about backing up what we see in the trilogy, and The Hunt for Gollum has a terrific opportunity to enrich the narrative that way, not get
Imran,
sidetracked.
yes,
Sidetracked
this would
with
be
Tauriel.
no,
come on.
no sidetrack. In fact, why isn't Tauriel at the
Okay.
Council of Elrond? There's an interesting story to be told during the time frame of the Hunt for Gollum.
She
Hold on,
didn't exist in Tolkien's mind. That's the
Oh
answer.
my God, we're making movies here. This had nothing to do. This is the movie universe. Don't even turn into a lore dude, right?
I'm not a
Tauriel
lore
is a
dude.
beloved Lord of the Rings character and Hobbit character.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
she
had a lot of fun with
deserves
her
a place
in that story.
this time frame in the Hunt for
That
Gollum.
was-
What if the opening
That's your
scene of the
opinion.
Hunt for Gollum is Tauriel's fate? She dies traumatically, and maybe her death is what unites Legolas and Aragorn to that unspoken kinship that you just described. It is when Aragorn and Legolas are with Tauriel when she dies, and Legolas explains to Aragorn what it means when an elf dies. We're getting into some interesting lore things that Rings of Power has not touched on very well.
Okay.
The impact of death to the elves. And that could be
why would Tauriel need to die in The Hunt for Gollum?
because
B,
you don't want her there.
why
This is
why
the
does she
best
need
of
to be
both
there at all?
worlds. Oh
It is
my
about it's about the relationship between.
You just want a bunch of dudes again? You want a movie about a bunch of dudes? No women in this movie, do you?
I didn't say that at all. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
tell me where the women are.
Oh my gosh. Now you're accusing me like those crazy Haladriel fans, the real crazy ones
Proof.
who accuse me of all people of being sexist and anti-woman. Oh, like I really need
But that's
I need
what I'm
Celeborn
saying.
to fix
Where are
Galadriel. I
the
do not
fe-
need
where are the
Celeborn to
women?
fix her.
Where are the
and I
women
do not need
characters
Galadriel
in the
fixed.
story of Hunt for Gollum?
We don't because the relationship that lingers into the Fellowship Two Towers Return of the King is the relationship between Legolas and Aragorn. It lingers. And we can learn. We have an opportunity now in The Hunt for Gollum to learn so much more about that.
And we have an opportunity through
That's
maybe
what I'm
through Tauriel's ultimate sacrifice in Hunt for Gollum to see the longing of that occurs in the elves through Legolas or
if
other
we're-
characters.
If we're hearing rumors that the new draft scripts of The Hunt for Gollum might or might not include Evangeline Lilly, her character, Tauriel. Okay, go for it. Totally go for it. But to do it indiscriminately just for the sake of sticking the character in there is a bit wobbly. It's a bit wobbly to my mind.
That's not the rumor that we've heard at all. They found they're working her in. Do you doubt
Okay.
Phoebe and Philippa and Artie and all of them for doing anything flippantly like Rings of
No,
Power?
I don't. No. Certainly not at all like Rings of Power does. No. I don't believe that Phoebe Gittins or Artie Papagiorgio or Oscar winner Philippa Boyens, I do not believe they would ever have Elrond make out with his mother-in-law. No, that will never happen. However, it is. It
All
is.
right. They're telling us to move on. All right, we've said our piece.
I can't emphasize it.
Opinions.
I can't emphasize it any differently. It's about the relationship between Legolas. Actually,
We get it. Legolas and Aragorn in their shorthand. We get it. Okay, let's move on. Do you agree with Orlando here that no one else should play Legolas?
I don't know, man. You ask me my opinion and then you tell me shut up. It's so funny. It's so funny sometimes. What can I say?
We're like a married couple.
What I want to point again at the dialogue that Philippa put in at the end of The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies. It was Lee Pace talking to Orlando Bloom very specifically, and Tauriel wasn't in the room.
Tauriel
was not in the room.
She's like 10 feet away, mourning the loss of her love. She's literally right there.
Gosh,
she did not. You're telling me she did not overhear that conversation with Legolas? I don't believe you. She's right there.
No, she was not right there. Do you know what?
Watch The Hobbit. You keep telling me to watch Rings of Power. You need to watch The Hobbit.
I think that I have seen The Hobbit a million zillion times, all of them, and it's funny. Yes, thank you, Sean.
All right,
for
we're moving on.
We're an old married couple. The thing is that the setup was there. They wrote that dialogue. It is a big setup, and I do expect them to follow up with that setup.
Fair.
What Thranduil said to his son. I expect that. So,
all right,
fair enough. Now, what I'm more interested in.
We're moving on.
I'm more interested in Shelob.
We're moving on.
Shelob and Saruman. I want to know how those characters, because they have a more legitimate presence in the hunt for Gollum than Tauriel does. They really do.
We'll talk about Shelob another time.
Presence. Okay.
Other big news, Simon Tolkien.
Jimmy Mack is funny. Tauriel, who's Tauriel? You know what? And then don't forget the worst line. You brought it up because you brought it up. The worst line in the Hobbit movies of all time. Why does it hurt so much? And then Lee Pace says, because it's real. That was so corny that I don't know. That was just so... That was kind of corny. I don't know if I get that, but okay. Okay, fine. I'm done. Too funny. It's just too funny to me. Okay.
Hunt for Gollum in theaters December 2027.
Oh my gosh. Is Jordan in the chat? Is Jordan? I love you, Jordan Rennells. You're the best.
Simon Tolkien's new book was published today. Congrats to Simon Tolkien on the official release of The Room of Lost Steps, a beautifully written novel that weaves faith, identity, and survival into a journey set in 1930s Spanish Civil War. This is this new release is part of a book series featuring Theo Sterling's duology. So this is the second book in the duology of a character Simon Tolkien created called Theo Sterling. Wonderful.
Ooh, Theo Sterling. This is a big moment in time, I meant to say. Very big moment in time for Simon Tolkien. Congratulations to you, good sir. You have reached the finish line. And that is a big day for any author.
2 books in a series.
Big day. Big. And you know, very exciting. I say, good on you, mate. Good on you. This is his brand new book.
I hope
they send us a preview copy. I want to read it. I want them to send me a preview copy.
I
would love to read it.
We would love to read it and everything. From what I've read from the first book, which is The Place at the End of the Sea, I hope that Simon Tolkien finds a way to license these two books as a new streaming series. I think there's something really interesting that this character is, and I think the timing's right, because I'm watching this new Mark Ruffalo show on HBO. It's about, a FBI investigator solving a crime, and I'm
Yeah.
just bored out of my mind. Like, I can't deal with it. But from the little I've read from the first book from Simon Tolkien, I think it would make a great TV show. And if anybody's watching from Amazon, you should talk to Simon, since he's a producer on your show. Cliff, there's what else is happening? Hugo Weaving has
Oh, look at his
stated,
salty beard. He's got a salty beard.
and he
Look
is
at that.
salty on Lord of the Rings. He does not want to be in
Yes.
any of the new movies.
He
So
looks great.
Elrond is out. They have to recast
Yes.
Elrond or not use the character at all. But he, interestingly, I've never heard him do an audiobook.
Oh, no, me neither. I would love to hear him do an
So do you want to
audiobook.
hear the sample? Here is Hugo
Yes.
Weaving. Yes, that's Elrond himself doing an audiobook. They've already raised, $72,000
Out of 10,000? Wow, that's pretty cool.
And for this wonderful new audiobook, let's take a look and listen to Hugo Weaving, I believe his first audiobook narrative.
Our peace rests upon a barbarous elsewhere. Today, that elsewhere is here. Long ago, when all of Nay raged with war, when Garudas still hunted and Nags lurked in the shadows, a storyteller unlike any other was born. And Nay rejoiced as this bard's tales ended all war. Soon the rulers of Nay discovered that they no longer needed armies. Why force obedience when you can shape desire itself? For those who control the bard control everything. Every craving, every fear could now be quietly sparked by a tale. A spark ignites a flame roars into an inferno. Just before a cellar knocks at your door, you begin craving their honey meal. Days before your neighbor is dragged away into the night, you begin to distrust them. The bard knows all that was, all that is, and hence all that will be. Who is this bard, you ask? They call it Maya, the story tree. Now, when you gaze into Maya, Maya gazes back into you, and it does not blink.
Cliff, what do you think? I'm intrigued.
Interesting. Interesting.
Listening to Hugo Weaving's voice right there, I actually want to hear him read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
because
he's great.
Something about listening to an audiobook of Elrond himself telling the story feels right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, actually. Thank you, Katie. Bye-bye. It was great to have you on the show. Yeah, this actually does sound very intriguing, and I have to admit, he's a perfect voice actor for reading an audiobook. He's great.
But
He's
would you
wonderful at
like to
this.
hear the Lord of the Rings as told by Elrond?
By all means. Oh, yeah. My goodness, yeah.
My goodness, yeah. Like, look, if they can get Andy to do a full audiobook, why don't they just get Hugo to do a full audiobook? I would love to hear an audiobook of The Lord of the Rings by Hugo Weaving. I would love to hear Kate Blanchett read it as Galadriel telling you the story. Wouldn't that be fun, Cliff?
Yeah, I totally dig that.
We can't
now
even
here's-
entertain that question, Otaku, because he doesn't want anything to do with Lord of the Rings. So we're moving on to other
Jordan-
news.
Jordan says,
there are
imagine a co-reading with Hugo and Kate. That would have been awesome. Yes,
yeah,
Jordan, I agree. That would have been fabulous.
The two elder elves telling you the history of the Lord of the Rings. That would be great.
Yeah. That's a
Cliff,
super cool idea. I love that idea.
look at these. Look at these. Hold on, let me bring it up on screen. Whoop. Our friends at the new toy company that makes the Pix new things from the creator, the co-founder of Funko has these new toy company.
Oh, this is Thrilljoy, right? Isn't this from
Thrilljoy.
Thrilljoy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their company. Yeah.
And look at these variants. Gollum, they got a new Gollum, and then the chase version of Gollum is the Dunharrow King, which looks incredible. And then the rare,
That's cool.
the
That's
rare
cool.
chase is the Twilight Ring Wraith.
Ooh, wow. How
So-
cool is that?
If you buy any of the Golems, you have a chance that you'll get the Dunharrow King or the Twilight Ring Wraith instead of Gollum.
And you won't know until you unzip the package.
And you won't know until you unzip a package. So our friends at Thrilljoy are doing incredible work with the
that's fun.
with these new with these new figures. So look out for those. I believe they'll be in Hot Topic, and of course you can order them online, everything like that. Well, Cliff, should we?
I love it. Hold on. I love you, Jordan, for saying this. Take a look. He's calling out Rings of Power character Theo, and he says, "Look at that, Theo in a few seasons king." Yes, holding true to the ongoing conventional wisdom among fandom that the character Theo in the Rings of Power will ultimately be corrupted to become the Witch King of Angmar. I love that idea.
Wait, the Dunharrow
I'm-
King is not the Witch King.
He's talking about the Twilight Ring Wraith.
Oh, the Twilight Ring Wraith. Okay.
The Twilight Ring Wraith is, look at the crown. See the crown he's wearing? And that it might be a misnomer on the box because that's not really Twilight Ring Wraith. That character is, as depicted, Twilight Witch King. So, like, specifically, you can tell by looking at the design. He's got the Morgul blade, and that is the Morgul blade that pierced Frodo's shoulder and wounded him on Weathertop. So
It's the same
Yeah.
Morgul blade that pierced Galadriel's heart that she survived from in season 2.
No. It's
No,
not from Morgul. It's not from Morgoth's crown. No, the Morgul blade was not made. There's no connectivity there. Don't
come
insinuate
on.
that.
You don't put
There's
it
no-
past McPain to do that.
Oh,
Cliff,
well, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. But that would be silly because there's no connectivity there. Not at all.
All
Okay.
right, Cliff. I guess we should talk about this. I'm tired of Amazon releasing marketing stuff the day after Torn Tuesday. So
Yeah,
what were
well,
your
that's the
first
way they do it.
thoughts? What were your first thoughts on this this new video that the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, posted on their Instagram and their Twitter? Cliff. In fact, this is interesting. They called it Season 3 Sneak Peeks. It's 26
that's-
seconds long.
That's plural. That means they're going to have multiple ones of this. They
All
will
right,
have
so-
multiple clips like this.
So
And,
talk to me. What do you know? What do you notice about this video? Where are
Well-
we? First off, where are we?
Well, if we're dealing with the faithful, then we are on Numenor, but we're on the opposite side, which is the side of Numenor on the northwestern coast,
What makes
that
you say this is
faces-
Numenor and not a Middle Earth coastline?
because it says the sword of the faithful, and the faithful lived on Numenor before Numenor was sunk, and they haven't done the destruction of Numenor yet. So the faithful would not be anywhere else. The faithful would not be anywhere else but on Numenor. It hasn't been destroyed
You hear
yet.
that,
All right?
McBain? They
Do you
better
follow
not
along,
be anywhere
guys?
else.
It can't be anywhere else. Look, this is what you'd call the very western coast of Numenor. Okay,
All right, Cliff. What are we looking at here?
a
Whose hand-
sword, a pommel. I see the pommel of the sword, and the scabbard, but I don't know whose hand this is.
He's got an
And-
orange shirt on, so that is
and it
definitely
looks like
production
there's
crew.
There's a wire from his headphones right there, and that takes you out of the immersion immediately because that's modern 21st century electronics right there. Okay, what else do we have? Modern khaki pants. There's the crew. All right, the crew is sticking the sword in the ground. Oh, here comes Bear McCreary's music. Wow. Did you know who that was with his face blurred out? That's Elendil. That's Lloyd Owen. Gosh. You know what? I can't say it enough. I love Bear McCreary so much. I can't say it enough.
Man. And the fact that that music is on a television show, incredible work.
That's Elendil. That is our wonderful Elendil. He's wonderful.
All right, Cliff, quick notice here.
What?
Elendil is wearing a ring on his right ring finger.
I see that. He is wearing a ring.
Where does
look like...
where does Aragorn's ring of Barahir come from?
Oh, that's a long story. That's a long Silmarillion story.
Well, no, don't tell me the whole story. Just tell me, does Elendil have it?
I think so. Nice to see you, Jordan. Good night. Thank you for being with us on the show. Yes, I think at this point, Elendil has the Ring of Barahir, but that might be a totally different designed ring. It doesn't look like the one we know, does it? There he is. There's Lloyd Owen. There he is. Love him. He's great.
His deep booming voice, his soft and meticulous tone. He's the dad you always wanted.
He is so good. He's really so good. He's such a good actor. I'm really, really fond of him. He's great.
All right, Cliff, talk to me about this sword. Is it meant to connect to Peter Jackson's movies?
The sword? Yeah, I think that sword is meant specifically to connect to, well, Narsil.
This is Narsil, right?
That would be Narsil before it was broken. Yeah, that would be Narsil. Yeah.
This is Narsil.
That is Narsil, yes. Yeah, but hold on, it's slightly different. It looks a little bit, it looks really, really close, but there's slight differences in the pommel and the hilt of that sword. There are some slight differences. You can see it.
Are you okay with slight differences?
Yeah, that's fine. As long as we know what we're talking about and what we're looking at. How about them? You know what else is interesting? Look at the weird patch fabric that he's wearing on his tunic. Like little patches of metal in squares that are kind of offbeat, sewn here and there into the
yeah, is Elendil on the lamb?
Clothing he's wearing.
That is not a man of the court. That is not a piece of material that a man of the court is wearing.
Well, we're to understand that he's been exiled from the capital city of Anuminos.
So
he's been exiled.
There's Peter Jackson's Narsil.
That'd be Weta, the Weta design, yes, for Narsil.
Weta's design.
Yeah.
Now, Weta designed this as well, because Weta designed Narsil for season 1. So Weta did design both of these. So that's why I'm calling it Peter Jackson's. This is Peter Jackson's movie version.
Got it.
And this is Rings of Power's version. I like it. I think it references the original. You can see the little eye notch on the edge right there. And this one has an eye notch as well. It's just enough different while still referencing what came before. I think it's the best use of referencing the past while going into this.
That sword was originally forged by the dwarves of Nogrod. in the First Age. Okay? The dwarves of Nogrod, not the elves. Okay? And it was the dwarven smith Telchar. Maybe it's pronounced Telchar. Telchar. But yeah, Telchar or Telchar, the dwarf of Nogrod, he was the one who created that sword in the first damn place.
Would you be okay if the show changed the timeline and we actually see the swords crafting in this
No.
season?
No, that would be absurd.
Why would it be absurd?
Look, why would you see it being crafted? We already saw it in season 1. You saw the sword in the background of that secret Palantir chamber 2 seasons ago. It's sitting there in the background in plain sight, So, no. We don't need any of that post-history retcon weirdness. We don't need that.
All right. All right.
Yes, that's right, Monica. Narsil was an original dwarven sword. And yeah, it's got quite an interesting story back in the Silmarillion where it comes from. So now you know.
Cliff, we've got
Yes.
some leaks that showed up thanks to our Discord. Let's get into some leaks.
All right, yeah. Leak the information.
Wrong window. Let's open this up. Khalil in our Discord found that Amber Mendez Martin is playing Gerda in the Rings of Power Season 3.
Hey there. Welcome to the show.
What character do you think she plays?
No clue.
Well, let me give you a hint.
No clue.
Here's who she follows.
Oh, she follows Theo and our dwarven king and queen, Sophia and Owain Arthur. Wow.
And Amazon has already stated that there's a time jump this season. So it is.
Oh, no, that's not Theo. That's Theo Park Casting as the casting agency. That's not the character. No, okay, not to be confused.
So
All
we
right.
believe, the fans believe that this is Disa's daughter. This is Durin's daughter.
Oh, cool. That sounds cool. We did see a couple of kids running around in season 1, didn't we?
And remember, we reported on this earlier this year that Theo Park Casting, who she follows, had this open casting call for a boy to play 17, a boy to play 15, girl to play 17. So the daughter of Durin is older than the son, both dual heritage, one Caucasian, one black.
Got it. Yeah. Both dual
Ideally,
heritage.
genuine
Yeah.
Scottish accent required.
Cool, that's great.
I hope she doesn't sound like you.
I hope she doesn't sound like me at all. I know, that's terrible. That's really terrible. Yeah. So, hey, that means, hey,
And
do you know
here
what that means, Justin?
and
Justin,
here's her.
we
here's
finally
her-
have a clue. We finally have a clue of how many years the time jump is. If she's supposed to be 17 years old, now we know how big the time jump is by deduction from season 2 to season 3. And if she was one of the kids running around, then maybe we're about
10 years.
yeah, maybe we're about a 10-year jump ahead. Okay.
That's right.
All
So it's not that much of a time jump.
Okay. Interesting.
And introducing, so this is the older daughter. The younger son is being played by Lee Braithwaite, which is
Oh,
a
thank you.
Tolkien name if I've ever heard one.
Excellent. Excellent. We have dwarven kids, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have dwarven
Welcome
kids.
to the show. Welcome to the show, my young actor and my young actress. Welcome to the Rings of Power. It's going to be lovely to have you on the show. Hello to see you, Dave Elliott, in the chat. That was quite possibly the worst Scottish accent that you've ever heard, but thank you for the moral support.
So there you are, Durin's son, Durin's daughter, Durin's son, Durin's daughter. Awesome.
Looking great. All right. Cool stuff. All right.
Is Durin a title? Does this kid inherit Khazad Dûm?
What if he's a completely different name? He might not be named Durin, by his father. And remember, the original reincarnation idea is that the Durin reincarnation king happens centuries apart, not while the original one is still alive. So the Rings of Power messed that up too, the way that Tolkien wrote it. So
how big of a role should these kids play? Would you like to see Rings of Power go more toward the Acolyte and some of the Star Wars shows that have featured teenagers getting into hijinks?
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Well, where does the Durin storyline go from here? Because we've seen the big Durin Balrog fight. So we know Elder Durin's fate. So
Yeah.
how much do you think the kids are going to be playing? And Durin's kids going to be playing in this?
Well, it is an unusual thing because we know that Durin's brother is going to come onto the scene and contest his claim to the throne. So, no, we don't necessarily need to have it doesn't need to be like Skeleton Crew or Acolyte where we're focusing the story on the young kids because they don't have the biggest roles to play as much as the other senior characters have.
Huh.
Much more things to do. Really.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did appreciate the Acolyte. I really appreciated having Wire Fu in Star Wars. I never thought that I would see that type of very specific fight choreography, which is called Wire Fu, and combine that with Star Wars. I never thought I would see that, and I was delighted with it. I was even more delighted with Skeleton Crew because it recreated the Goonies in the best possible
It's
way
so
in
great.
the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
It was
anyone
so good.
complaining about that show, like both
Skeleton
those
Crew
shows
was
are
fabulous.
wonderful. And we'll talk about
It was
Star Wars
so
in a minute.
fabulous.
Because if we got more casting news from Rings of Power,
But I think the focus, if there's any teenager you're focusing on, it's Theo. And that's because Theo is going to be growing up really fast. Then he needs to become a ring wraith. So
Daniel
that's happening.
Scott
Yeah.
Smith, who was in House of the Dragon, has been cast. Man, he could be playing anybody at this point. I think he might be an orc.
He could.
Um,
He could be a dwarf. You put him under tons of latex makeup, and he could be a character actor doing all kinds of things.
Well, here's another actor that's been cast. He is Scottish. So the only time we hear Scottish accents is in Khazad-dûm with Durin. This could be someone. Who knows?
Lorne McFadden. Lorne McFadden. King of the Highlands. Sorry.
We've got a fourth casting news. I told you we got news on news. Elliot Morris is playing a minor role in season 3. He is following Theo's actor. So
he's following Theo. So that means he's one of the humans from Pelargir.
So and he's the right age to befriend. He looks like the right age to befriend Theo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we imagine that this is a friend of Theo.
Okay, got it. Go back to two guys previous. The guy with the bald head, Daniel. All right, guy with the bald head. I think I agree with you 1,000%. That he could be. Wait, I just saw you in the chat saying that he could be. Where I just saw this. I just saw you in the chat saying that he could be oh, I lost it. I just saw you in the chat saying that he could be a certain character.
Well, you can't remember it?
I can't. No, it was right there. I was just looking right at it. Oh, that's it. Monica, you're correct. Monica, I think you are correct. Maybe he's Durin's brother. Maybe Daniel Scott Smith will be the angry brother who wants to claim the throne of Khazad-dûm. I like that idea. Monica.
All right.
You might be onto something there.
So that's our casting news from Rings of Power. So we've got this guy. We've got another Scottish actor, Lauren McFadden. We've got Elliot Morris, who is going to be accompanying Theo on some adventures. And it looks
Yeah.
like we have Duran's kids.
We have Duran's kids. Yes, we do.
Duran's kids. And everyone just looks really interesting. That was
Yeah,
one
very-
thing about Lord of the Rings. Everyone's interesting to look at.
Yeah, they have some very interesting casting choices with these character actors. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah. Do you want Duran's kids to be slapstick, Cliff?
No, I don't want any slapstick of any kind. I mean, the only time you ever get any slapstick is in The Hobbit. And the tone from The Hobbit was like a children's story that had like real elements of physical comedy. Like all the dwarves stumbling on the doorstep at Bilbo's front door, things like that. But not Second Age stories and not Lord of the Rings stories. There's no place for slapstick in there. Are you kidding?
All right. Well, we hope these young actors have been given incredible material to hone their acting chops, because as we saw at the Emmys, age is nothing but a number. You can be 13 years old and win the Best Actor Emmy, as the kid did in Severance. Not Severance, in Adolescence. Adolescence won. So that's incredible. Cliff, other news. Let's moving on to other news. We broke the news this week that the Curtis Brown heritage now represents the Tolkien estate. This is huge news in the publishing world. Up until now, the Tolkien family and their lawyers themselves have managed the Tolkien legacy, the estate.
That's true.
All of the books, everything that Christopher Tolkien published, everything was handled and managed in-house.
All the old manuscripts and everything. Yes, that's true.
Everything, every printed page, every book that's been released, the letters of J.R. Tolkien, everything the Tolkien family handled themselves. But now that Christopher has passed on, there's new leadership at the family. Simon has taken on a bigger role, and with his involvement in the Rings of Power and stuff, and he's got his own books. So the JRR's publishing estate is now represented by Curtis Brown, which is a management agency that also represents the author of James Bond.
Oh, yes. That'd be Ian
Fleming.
Ian Fleming, yes.
Ian Fleming manages, so they manage Ian Fleming's estate interests in everything James Bond. Curtis Brown, if you go to their website, manages Morfydd Clark. Look at that.
Oh, yes, they do.
So this is a management agency that handles all the business affairs for licensing and entertainment and in work and everything like that. So Curtis Brown, who also reps Morfydd Clark, we were excited that Curtis Brown, we can announce now that Curtis Brown is now. So what does this mean for Tolkien? Cliff?
This is a very good question. What does it mean? Well, I would say that let's scroll down a bit, because Green Dragon did some excellent reporting on this story.
That's right.
She really did. They
represent A.A. Milne, Ian Banks,
who created
Adams.
Winnie the Pooh,
Yep.
Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And representing the Tolkien estate means that they have to manage, I guess, the rights of publications and any reprinting or translated editions that go international around the world.
So, Cliff, if you were to reissue the People's Guide to J.R.R. Tolkien books, you would be talking to these guys instead of the Tolkien family themselves.
No, we were actually working with Simon & Schuster. We were published by Cold Spring Press, and they were a shingle offshoot of Simon & Schuster.
At some point talked to the Tolkien estate. So at some point in all things publishing, now people would be talking to Curtis Brown instead of
That's right.
trying to find out. So huge news in the Tolkien world, but Tolkien is in great hands. I have to say, this is good news all around. It
They will
means
govern. You're right. Dave is right. They will govern anything on paper. They will make executive decisions for anything that is Tolkien related on paper, not on film, not on television, not on video games, not on tabletop games, but on paper, published. That's what
That's
they're
right.
going to deal with. Yes.
This is a
Quite
good
right.
move
Thank you,
all
Dave.
around.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Cliff, we
It
got
is a very good move.
10 minutes in the show, and I feel like I feel like we need to talk about the Emmys because, for the second season in a row, Rings of
Yeah.
Power came home with 0 Emmy awards.
Yeah, we need to talk about the Emmys. The first thing that I want to say about the Emmys is that their host was a rather poor choice for a host. He was not funny. He was kind of awkward half the time. More than half the time, he was awkward. And he fumbled and stumbled in speaking regular English words, which is something that a TV host of a major awards show needs to be able to handle. And he stumbled his words. But aside from that, it was a pretty interesting awards night. The very young actor from Adolescence, who surprisingly won that award, I was serving at the pre-Emmy party. The Netflix people had a big party, and I was their lead bartender at the Netflix party. And this was just like a few days before the Emmys. And there they were, all the cast and crew of Adolescence. So I was lucky enough to meet
You're
him.
not supposed to serve a child alcohol, Cliff.
It was a ginger ale. Thank you. That's why they had someone like me who's a responsible bartender. That's why they had me in charge.
All right, that's
I was
fine.
a responsible charge. But it was really interesting to meet these
the
people.
most
And then a
important-
few days later, they won the big prizes, and it was really exciting. It was really exciting. Anyway, but
I would say, Cliff, do you agree with me
Yes.
that the most important Emmy award that Rings of Power could ever win is
Was this one.
writing?
and Dan Gilroy walked away with it for Andor. Yes, and
Amazon.
here it is.
I want to tell Amazon, if you want to win any Emmys, this is the one you need to focus on. You're not
Yep.
going to win any Emmys. Bear's not going to win. VFX isn't going to. No one's going to win until you
Gosh.
figure out the writing.
Bear really should have been nominated and won. Really, Bear should have been
He
in
really
there.
should have won
He
this
really
season.
should
He
have.
should have won the first season. He should have won second
Really
season, but he
should have.
wasn't even nominated. But we are
Yeah.
2 seasons in, and Rings of Power has 0 Emmys for the $1 billion spent.
Isn't that odd? Isn't that weird?
And I want and Andor's budget for both seasons was less than half of Rings of Power.
And yet still was one of the most expensive Star Wars television productions ever mounted. Still.
Ever mounted.
Ever. And
It's
yet-
the most it is the most expensive Star Wars ever, and it's
Did you
still
say-
less than half the budget of Rings of Power.
Now, did you tell me maybe my count that the total trophies that they won, Andor, was 5 or 4? 4 awards or 5 awards? How many did Andor
They
win?
won 5 technical awards, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
But
Okay,
Cliff,
yeah.
let's play this clip. Because what Dan Gilroy says in his speech
Yeah, 5. They got 5 wins.
is, for me, is exactly what I want to hear out of anybody working on Rings of Power. And Cliff, I want to see your reaction. Let's play the clip.
I work.
Star Wars as a whole is just like a cultural icon, and you briefly touched on it before. What was it like creating something from that canon, from that lore that so many people like hold in their hearts?
Well, you have to go in with tremendous respect for the people that love the show, because there's a reason why they love it. We were always trying to service the fans first, to surprise them and give them things that were unexpected, but to not break canon, to not break things that were already established. Everything you do in the show can generate 10,000 comments instantaneously, so people really deeply care about this. I have to go to my brother Tony. Tony was this is a show, and I'm standing up here talking it should really be my brother Tony standing here as the showrunner and the creator. I worked for him. He guided every one of us on the show and told us where to go. So I think he had a lot of trepidation going into a Star Wars show for that reason. He didn't want to F it up. But he took a gamble, like everybody else on the show took a gamble, including Bob Iger, God bless him, and it paid off.
Cliff, your reaction to hearing those words?
It's perfect. That's the perfect response.
It's exactly
have
what
to
we want to hear out of Rings of Power
Yeah.
leadership.
You need to respect the canon of all the people that love that world so much, and they did, and they managed to bring a richness, a human richness to a world full of aliens and creatures and droids and bizarre planets, and everything about the story was so humanistic at its core. That was the great success of Andor. It really was. It was so well done.
Anonymous Jerome
And-
Tarum says the Rings of Power showrunners could learn a few things from this guy. Here's what I want. I'm going to replay this clip because I want you to hear it
Yes.
again, because
Yes.
this is
Please
not
do.
this is not
Please.
media trained marketing speak. You could tell from
Oh,
his
yes.
tone that they believe this with their heart. Everything he says, he believes with his heart. It's not something that they're just saying to make us happy. He truly believes it. Let's play this clip again. I want to hear it.
Creating something from that canon, from that lore that, you know, so many people like hold in their hearts.
Well, you have to go in with tremendous respect for the people that love the show, because there's a reason why they love it. We were all
That says it all. That says it all,
All right.
doesn't it?
Next part.
always trying to service the fans first, to surprise them and give them things that were unexpected, but to not break canon, to not break things that were already established.
Yep, that says it all. That's
the benchmark. The benchmark of success.
He is so succinct. You know, his comments in about 45 seconds say everything
Look
that
at
we
that.
have
It's
been
15
talking about for
seconds.
months and months and months.
He said
Yeah.
it in 15 seconds.
Yeah, amazing.
I've got one more clip.
Okay.
Let's listen.
Andor is such an incredible series, and I think what it was like to see audience series and real life, to the parallels that we're seeing between the series and real life.
Well, I think, like I said in my acceptance speech, the audience seemed to engage on a level beyond watching. There was a core group of fans that know the canon of the show, and the canon of the show very much does involve a rebellion that's going on against an emperor who's just popped up. So there's everything that's in the show is resonating now more by chance than by design. We wrote the show or designed the show 3 years ago. So none of this was in our head. I know Tony, the creator of the show, is a student of history. And, you know, you go back to World War II, you go to Stalin. These things are repeating themselves over and over. I see parallels. There's no question I do. And I understand when people talk about how they're feeling when they watch the show. I think we've given people a narrative to talk about politics in a more story-based way, and giving them something to think about. And in terms of the parallels, I guess I'm proud that we got to work on a show that has resonance.
Amazing.
I mean, isn't that how Tolkien approached it? Tolkien is a student of World War I. Tolkien is a
Yes,
student
indeed.
of history.
A veteran of World War I.
And a student of history.
Active service veteran. And a student of history, yes.
So I'm tired of McPain saying that they're inspired by Lawrence of Arabia and inspired by Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and inspired by every pop culture reference they can get. Be inspired by history like Tolkien.
Indeed. Wow. Well, I agree, but it's kind of amazing how art reflects life in the most surprising ways. It really comes out of nowhere sometimes. And that level of applicability that Tolkien talks about, because, Professor Tolkien was never, ever interested in ham-fisted approach to metaphor and analogy. He didn't want things to be direct analogs that he, the author, was trying to impose on the reader. He wasn't about that. The allegorical connections, Tolkien felt, should not be controlled by the author, but the readership. Professor Tolkien always said that it being within the power of the readers to make any possible allegorical causality or connectivity on their own is a special way to empower the reader, instead of the author taking the power to himself or herself. The author gives the power to the reader so they can make up their own minds of the causality and the connection between the political or spiritual dilemmas in the story narrative and what is happening in their own real world, in the primary world. That is one of the greatest secrets of Tolkien's success as a writer. It really is.
Really is. All right. One final programming note. Again,
Yes.
we are sharing this because we love our actors, and sometimes
Yes.
our actors will go on and be the president of Screen Actors Guild. But
Yay,
check
that's
out this
right.
event. Cinema for Gaza presents Pride and Prejudice, a table read.
Intriguing.
But look at that cast: Daisy Ridley and Morfydd Clark.
Oh, look, there's Morfydd Clark and Daisy Ridley.
Galadriel.
Oh, cool.
Ray and Galadriel are together for the first time. For the first time, Ray Skywalker and Galadriel of
That's
the
cool.
Woodland Realm, I don't know where she's from,
That's cool.
are going to be part of this Pride and Prejudice table read. It's on Sunday, October 12th at 6 p.m. in London. All profits
Fascinating.
go to medical aid for Palestinians.
Right.
And take a closer look at that cast.
There's a lot of big stars and interesting stage actors from the London stage that are in this. Wow, look. It's happening in the second week of October in London. We should fly over and see. I love Pride and Prejudice. It is such a classic story. It's so great. And that would be really interesting to hear them do a reading of this great story.
I hope they film this or stream it, because I would pay to watch this online. But if you're in London, do make an effort. This is an incredible cast. And Cliff.
Yeah, very cool.
Cliff, take a look at that cast. You've got Daisy Ridley, Ray Skywalker. You've got Morfydd Clark, Galadriel, and you've got an all-star cast. Is that what some of these Easterling cultures should start looking like in Rings of Power?
I have no idea if it should be like an ethnocentric representation. It might be a mixed representations from the eastern lands of Rune, because there might be a lot of different people from Middle Earth traveling through that area. There might be a real,
all I know,
in the Mediterranean, a real mixed Mediterranean, some European,
I agree,
some
but
Northern African, some Middle Eastern mix in that whole mix. It could be a really interesting.
But there's not a lot of that in the show currently.
Mix. Not so much. Not in a way that makes geopolitical sense in a way.
No, it doesn't. And from day one, when Amazon released that first map and said we are going to the edges of the map, including Numenor.
All right.
This was the expectation. The expectation that they set for fans is that they are going to go to the eastern and southern edges of that map, and we're going to see cultures that look more like this cast grouping than anything we've seen in Rings of Power so far.
Laswen in the chat is reminding us that Jenna Coleman, who's in the very dead center of the grid, Jenna Coleman was Clara in the series Doctor Who, as well as playing Queen Victoria. That's true. Yes, indeed.
So, if Rings of Power, if Amazon wants to get make it go through Easy Street, Amazon casting should just go to this and hire everybody on stage and say, "You're on
Right
Rings
on.
of Power."
Right on.
That's what we want. Well, Cliff,
Right on.
huge,
Well, I
huge,
hope they have a
huge
very
show.
successful event. I hope they have a very successful reading. That's very cool.
Yes. Well,
and
congrats to Andor. Congrats to all the winners. You know what? This is one of the first years where I do not have any issues with any of the winners of the Emmy Awards this year. I loved every show that was nominated. I appreciated the winners for the talent that they brought. Adolescence is an incredibly visceral show. Steven, what's his name, is an incredible actor. I've loved him.
Wasn't it done all in one take? It was done in one take. A wild approach to doing the show. Really wild.
So I just loved Severance. I loved Andor. I just loved every show that was nominated, and everyone that won was very deserving, and I'm very excited. Penguin won, but
Penguin did win some too. Yes, Andor won best editing, visual effects, best costume design, which probably was the type of category that you would have thought the Rings of Power would have been nominated in. They won best production design, which is a category that Rings of Power, one would think it would have been nominated in.
I'm telling you right now, if you want to know why Rings of Power is not winning those categories, it's because this category is underserved.
Yeah.
This particular category needs to be fixed in a major way.
Yeah.
When you get this category correct with Rings, all the others will fall in line.
Indeed.
The only issue I did have was in the category of directing, where there were 4 or 5 women directors and the one dude won. You know, Adolescence was incredible. It's just unfortunate. But anyway, great Emmy Awards, great campaign season. By the way, I loved these things.
Oh, what?
The newspaper.
Oh yeah, the newspaper. Oh gosh,
the Rebellion newspaper. This was my favorite thing. You know, they gave us the "We Are the Gore" lyrics in the original language. I would love this for some of the songs in Rings of Power with the English translation right next to it. It's incredible. Why didn't Rings of Power do anything like that?
And also, big congratulations to Stephen Colbert for his much-deserved win. And that was brilliant. Yeah.
Oh yeah, tonight's his first night back. We have friends everywhere. We have friends everywhere. It's like we have friends that went to Stephen Colbert's show taping this afternoon.
Yes. Oh, that's fabulous.
They've been texting me during the show, so I've got the sneak on that. But Cliff, this is a great show. We covered all the latest news for Rings of Power casting. We showed you 5 new actors that have joined Rings of Power. We talked about Hunt for Gollum and the casting gossip. You know, Tauriel might be coming back. Orlando doesn't want anyone else playing. And Andy is a for sure thing. So lots of news going on in Lord of the Rings world. And Cliff, take us out with your cat.
I'm doing Simba at the top of Pride Rock. I just pretend I'm Rafiki, and I've already hit you on the head with Rafiki stick, right? But now this is the part where I hold Simba up. The circle of life. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Kitten King, Mithrandir, the king of all kitty cats. Here he is. Anyway, it's really lovely to have such a great community of people on this show. I say it every time, but we couldn't be here without you. Who would we be without your love and your support and you guys coming in to be in our community on the show? You know, where would we be without you guys? So my acknowledgement as I close the show is for you, the wonderful, wonderful audience. I want to say thank you for being with us and supporting us all these years. It's so delightful to have you here. And thank you for keeping the faith and for joining us on Torn Tuesday, your one-stop weekly shop of all things mischievous and wonderful in the world of J.R.R. Tolkien. I am grateful to my co-host and producer, Justin. As always, I'm grateful. And I want to say to you folks, join us, please, on the Discord. It's free to join. Best conversations on the internet happening right there. Join the OneRing.net Discord. And to everybody out there in the world, you can follow us on Instagram, on Blue Sky, Twitter, Twitch. We're the One Ring Net. And me, I am QuickBeam 2000. That's where you find Clifford Broadway. I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky as well. And guess what? We're going to be here again, right here, same bat time, same bat channel on 5 p.m. next, that'd be 5 p.m. Pacific time on the OneRing.net Torn Tuesday. We'll be right here. Come and join us again for another excellent episode. And as always, look out for one another. Please be kind and look out for one another because we're all we've got. All right? Take care, everybody, and good night and good luck to all of us. To all of us. Or as I love to say at the end of every show, buenos noches y buena suerte. Bye-bye, everybody. And before we forget to mention it, everyone, we actually have a big picnic, a wonderful gathering. It is happening in Griffith Park, not the observatory, sorry, but it's in Griffith Park at the Mineral Wells picnic area. Come and join us for our big annual outdoor picnic. Huge family picnic. It's a potluck affair. Everybody brings different food and baked goods and wonderful cosplay and musical instruments and fabulous books and conversations. We really can't close the show without reminding everyone to come to our wonderful all day long. It's an all day long outdoor picnic. You can find the details on our main website and on our Facebook. We have a community page that mentions the Baggins Birthday Bash. Okay, that's right. So now we're closing the show. Baggins Birthday Bash is Sunday, September 21st at Griffith Park, Mineral Wells picnic area. Can't wait to see you. We're going to have the best time, and I'll see you there myself. Okay? Bye, everybody.